It's Wednesday morning. It's 10 a.m.
Oh,
You know what that means. We're broadcasted live from the second floor poker room here at the beautiful Palm Beach Kennel Club. It is Pbkc picks for week number 7. I'm Mike Jameson, right here, the
Did
man,
you
the myth,
miss
the
me?
legend. We did miss him last
where
week.
were you?
Hotlanta.
Was it hot?
No, not my favorite place.
He's not
Hotlanta.
saying nice things about
no,
Atlanta.
Shh, don't get me started.
And that's Noah Carbone. He's one of our assistant general managers, the leader of the poker room, and right here from the Earnestly Speaking podcast, Mr. Ernest Christian, a longtime poker dealer here at Pbkc.
How are you, Michael?
I'm doing well. How's everybody?
How's your
Oh.
Raiders?
The Raiders are a dumpster fire.
Next question.
like that.
Let's go.
I am fired up today.
Me too.
Let's get into it. Skip the standings.
Oh, no, we have to show, we have to
no,
show the
no,
standings.
no.
Let's take a look here.
No. That is pretty.
Wow.
Good job, Alexis.
That's
By the
a
way, is
dominating
that
lead.
this week?
54.
That's
not
the total,
year
right?
to date.
That's the total.
54 year to date, Ernest.
No, my points, I had 10 points.
Okay.
I had 12 points
That's
last
solid.
week. So
Where?
my points are off on that
Can I
list
comment?
right
Go
there.
ahead,
Okay.
go ahead. You going to say?
No, I have nothing to say.
Jacob Bianca making a comeback here in 4th place now.
Yeah.
Copy my notes, of course. Good job, Jacob.
It's a long season.
Yep.
It's a
Yes,
long season.
yes.
I'm going to get back on track this week.
Well, I think Hotlanta may have fried your brain a little bit, or Josh Allen, one of the two. I don't know.
Yeah, last week was a good week for myself and Alexis, and I
Yes.
think Jacob had a good week too.
Pat-
I actually
Pat
had
Rooney-
12 wins last week.
The four-
12 wins.
The 4 might be a record low. Can we confirm that? Can we
It
get
is.
production?
It
okay,
is. I don't think it's
confirmed.
anything lower than
Record
6
low.
in this thing. Yeah.
Commander-in-Chief struggled
Yeah,
last
that's a
week.
little scary.
Yep, the only time I do well and I don't get credit for it. That's
No
just
credit.
the way
Let's
it
just go
always
on with the
works for
show.
me. But
Yeah.
no, okay, let's move on now. Ernest is at the top of the standings. That's why we don't have to talk about it
I love
anymore.
hearing that. That's a nice little ring to it. That's great.
Let's go with our takeaways from week number 6.
What a whirlwind. So, okay, we have all the games, and the games are the games, and nothing crazy in the games. The trades. Here we are in trades. So, Aaron Rodgers, I watched the whole game Monday night. Aaron Rodgers, well, he proceeds to get the coach fired last week. And then he literally probably walked in the general manager's office, fire the coach. Then they lose again. He walked in the general manager's office where he talked to Woody up there, and he says, go get me Adams, and Adams is signed the next day. Is that not bizarre?
Next day. It's right 10 hours after the game
That's
was over.
absolutely nuts.
10 hours after the game was over.
Have you
the
ever
train
seen
went down.
a quarterback have that much influence on a franchise?
No.
Yeah, LeBron James.
Well,
LeBron James.
yeah, I guess yes, but in the NFL, never seen it
No.
before, ever. Never.
Unbelievable. So he gets that done. Then Buffalo adds a piece with Cooper, who's going to stretch the field, open
Absolutely.
up the tight ends, do all kinds of crazy stuff over there. That's a huge addition for them.
Yeah.
And we're probably not done. I'd like to see a couple more moves. Maybe my Eagles will add an edge rusher, which we're in desperate need of.
Yes,
The
yes.
Giants probably selling. The Raiders obviously selling their
Big time.
their
The Browns
players.
already
to-
selling.
and you have to make those decisions now to rebuild and get that draft capital moving forward. That's the plan. You know the writing's on the wall. You're 2-4, you're 1-5, whatever your record is. You know where you're at, and then you also know if you're Buffalo and you're in contention to go get those final couple pieces and make a run at this thing. Now the
That's
Jets, they're in a weird spot. They're 2-4,
Yeah.
and they're adding pieces. And I know why they're doing it because Aaron Rodgers is on a running clock. They only have so much time.
Yes.
They're viewing this as a window, but their window is only like this much open. So I don't
But the
agree with that.
AFC, but the AFC Walker situation. You look at I wish we had a screen for this though. The AFC Walker situation is not defined yet though. So if I still thought the Bengals won the playoffs, even at 2-4.
Right.
Yeah.
What about the Jets? Where do you have that?
Jets? Well, preseason wise, I hadn't won before the year started. I'm still concerned because look, the Adams move was big. It is big. It helps.
Right.
But if they don't fix their O-line, it does not matter. It doesn't matter. That's the biggest issue is that Rodgers has no protection.
It doesn't, but if you see a receiver that can beat man coverage and
Right.
and you start going 3
Right.
outs or 4 outs and
Right.
you don't keep those guys in and you hit a quick route to Adams or
Right.
something like that, it changes the whole game.
No, agreed.
It changes the dynamic. The Jets have a phenomenal
Mhm,
defense. If you look at, I just looked at it 15 minutes before we got on here, looking at the stats.
Yeah.
The Jets are good on the defensive side. So
Oh, they're phenomenal.
maybe this one piece gets them closer. They get into the playoffs. The Jets need a playoff game. When's the last time they had a playoff game? Right.
I
So
think Obama was president.
it's been a while. So maybe they're just trying to add something and try to make a little bit of a posturing here. But I'm not thrilled.
Yeah, I think the Amari Cooper signing by the Bills is absolutely huge. I think it's drastically different going to a 2-4 team that just got rid of their coach a couple of weeks ago to go into a 4-2 team with easily the most handsome quarterback in the league, and
No doubt.
obviously a 4-2 record. So I think the Amari Cooper signing, I'm actually really excited to see him play with a good quarterback.
All right,
So,
I need one more opinion from you guys.
Go
All
ahead,
right,
go right
so I'm a Philly guy, South Jersey. I emulate Philly.
I'm sorry.
That's me. That's my city.
You do
So
actually.
Sirianni, during the game and after the game, he's arguing with the fans. Your thoughts?
It's a bad look, obviously, but it also fits his personality, so I can't necessarily
He
blame him
is
for that also,
Philadelphia.
too. Right.
He's an Italian American.
Right.
Sirianni in the middle of Philadelphia. He's Philly. He's like, we argue, we fuss, we love our team, but we're
Right.
not going to accept mediocrity. Mike, what do you think about that?
No, I love it. I mean, I've known you for many years, and that's
I-
the quality you bring.
I would
to
be
the
him.
Palm Beach
I would be
Kennel Club.
Sirianni. I like we would be losing the game and the fans be booing. I'd be like yelling at him. Then we win. I'd get up there and I'd be like, ah. And be like, how do you like us now?
What I didn't like though was him bring his son or his daughter to the press conference after.
No, he always does though.
He always does that.
He does it consistently. Yes.
Okay,
So
okay,
that
thank you.
everybody's
Okay.
trying to play that up. That's not an
Okay,
issue.
thank you.
All
Okay,
right.
good to know that.
So let's get into the nuts and bolts of this week, Mike.
real quick before we go any further. My
Oh.
takeaway real quick for this week is the Cowboys are cooked. Let's just go and say it.
All right, we'll
Look-
talk about.
look up,
Yeah,
look
definitely.
up.
I would love to add to that.
Yes.
Okay, but one thing that I know that happened on Week 6 is that the people that came to Feast and Football had a great time
Speaking of cook,
in the Paddock Restaurant.
Yummy.
There's no better place to watch the games every Sunday now through January 5th, and it's starting at 11:30 a.m. They have 140 HD TVs, 3 big screens, full bar, and they offer a $25 all-you-can-eat buffet plus a free beer.
that's awesome.
It is the best deal in town. It's getting real popular, folks. If you're going to go, you got to give them a call, 561-683-2222, and that is extension 199. It's called Feast and Football every football Sunday in the Paddock starting at 11:30 a.m.
and your people might be here, like your group, like
Oh, yeah.
your Falcons group or whatever. And if they're not, bring them.
Yeah.
Like make it your spot. Be like, this is where we're going for our games.
Yeah, if you're looking for a place to have like that, the games. Okay, we're gonna
It's
watch
hard
the Falcons.
to find it,
Yeah,
right? Make
yeah.
it here. Somebody come in here and make this your home base.
Yeah, come in.
It doesn't have to be just
PBKC.
Pittsburgh.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. The Dolphins fans can come here. We'll even allow Philadelphia fans here
Let's
if they want to
go.
come here. So, anybody who wants to come out and watch a football game, there's no better place than Feast and Football every Sunday in the Paddock. And now we move on to our favorite segment. That's the segment we get to talk about all the games.
All right.
It's called our Weekly Picks segment, and we're going to start off with the Thursday night game, and that Thursday night game is Denver at New Orleans, where New Orleans is the underdog by 1 point.
The Sean Payton Bowl.
Yeah. What do you think?
I don't know, honestly. This is tough because Denver loses a tough game to the Chargers last week. Saints are, as I told you guys 4 weeks ago, when they're 2-0, they're still frauds. And I've been correct since saying that. Seahawks too, for the record. I think Sean Payton wants to exact some revenge here. I told you guys the Saints aren't that good, and it's showing. They don't have the quarterback. Derek Carr, I think, is out again this week, I
Right.
believe. Give me the Broncos to win this game.
No, I think the Saints at home, whenever they're playing at home and they're getting points, especially against a team, Denver's equally mediocre. We're going to work in all these adjectives. That's mine.
I love
Mediocre. That's Denver. Denver is the epitome of mediocre. I think the Saints pull this one out. I think Robinson's starting to, or no, not Robinson. I think what's his name? The quarterback, backup. He had a great game.
Spencer Rattler.
He had a good game.
Rattler, yeah.
He threw all over the place.
He
I mean,
did.
he did well. So I'm not worried about the Saints at Denver and Bo Nix. Nah.
Yeah.
Two mid teams.
Two mid teams. Here we
Mid,
go with
they're
the kids
Started.
speak.
Mid.
Here we go with the children talk here. So I feel like New Orleans at home. If this game was being played in Denver, I would pick a different team. But I'm taking New
shout out
Orleans
to
at home.
production, a little Thursday.
Oh my
at
God, I like
8:15
that.
p.m.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Cool. Very
We're
cool.
all old
Sup,
because we're
Jake,
all
man?
squinting
Yeah.
to see that. I
My
can
man.
tell.
There we go.
We talked about how old the Ernest was last week. So now we're going to
Very.
move on to our Sunday docket of games. This is the early game, and Jacksonville is actually favored by 5.5
This-
here.
The Mimosa Bowl.
All right, I'm going first. So we have the game of the week. This is the shame of the week. Like,
Oh, God,
what?
yeah.
This game.
The shame of the week.
It's the shame of the week.
Okay,
Write it
can we-
down.
can we
It's
make
a
a
shame.
graphic for that,
Yeah,
please?
we're gonna have. So from now on, this is my shame of the week. It's a shame we have to watch this. It's a shame that the Europeans have to be subject to bad football. Jacksonville doesn't come home. They stay over there. That like
It might as
keep
well.
'em. They're I don't know. They're eating tea and crumpets over there, like losing football games. They're not good.
Yeah.
The Patriots getting 5.5 on a neutral field. I'll take it. Is May coming out this year? Is this his coming out party? Is this his game?
I mean, he played okay against Houston, somewhat.
So you think this is it? Jacksonville's bad.
Yeah. I saw a meme today about basically saying idea like if you lose in London, you got to stay there and play till you win.
I like that.
Wow.
That being said, Jaguar. Look, if they don't win this game, I think Doug Peterson's fired next week. So they better win this game, and I think they will.
Yeah,
So-
I think so too. I'm taking Jacksonville home field advantage whenever they're overseas because there's a lot of Jacksonville fans over there. They might as well just stick over there if they
I
don't
think-
win.
I
this
don't
game.
Big Ben Parliament. They could just keep doing that lap.
I don't think
Shut
Sean.
kids, Big Ben.
I don't
Parliament.
think Sean Khan wants to be embarrassed 2 weeks in a row on the international stage. That's a bad look.
Yeah.
So no.
Yep, I'm taking Jacksonville, and again, Jacksonville is favored by 5.5 in that game. That is the Sunday morning game, so they force us all to watch the the shame of the week, as
Shame
Noah
of the
said.
week.
Oh, I called them a mimosa bowl. I have my mimosa in the morning. It's
I like
9:30
mine.
so.
Mine wins. Go ahead.
Okay, now we move on to the docket of 1 o'clock games for this Sunday, and it's the first game we're going to talk about is Seattle at Atlanta, and Atlanta will be favored at home by 2.5.
Falcons are pretty good. They're starting to put it all together a little bit now. Kirk Cousins is doing the thing, and the running game was great last week. I don't know if you saw that. Robinson and the other kid, 105. What's his name? Algier had 105 yards.
Team on it
Robinson,
again.
Robinson had 95 yards in rushing against Carolina. Oh, I know it's Carolina. I get it. Give me Falcons. I told you guys about Seattle too, like the Saints. They're frauds, and I am 6-0 since that. So
All right. So Atlanta's playing pretty good. Okay, they are the team that has Robinson. He had a great week last week. Kirk Cousins, he'll be out there. They'll win this one. He'll have the chain on. It'll be all hype, and he'll be like whatever. He'll be getting his Riz in the locker room with the guys.
Here we go.
Like he'll have all the chains on.
Kirk Thuggins.
Like Kirk Thuggins wins this one.
Yeah, I'm taking Atlanta at home also. They're favored by 2.5 at home with Seattle coming in. I am taking Atlanta here too. Now we move on to our next game. This is one that Noah's going to love
Where's your
talking
shirt?
about. It is Tennessee at
Oh.
Buffalo, where Buffalo
shirt.
is favored by a hefty 8.5 points.
The best quarterback in the NFL.
Whoa,
the most
whoa,
handsome.
whoa,
Wait,
whoa,
and now
whoa.
did you see he's adopting a puppy? What's better than Josh Allen with a
Top
puppy? Did you
3.
see
Puppy?
this?
Top 3, yes, not
All right.
best.
Did
in
you
the
see him?
NFL.
He has a little puppy. He's like winning football games. He's petting puppies. Like, like bring this kid home.
Boy, if he didn't
Like,
win you
bring it
over
home.
before.
No,
I'm
he
not
has
telling
me
you.
now. He's tugging at my heartstrings. They're giving up 8.5. Tennessee's terrible. This is my lock of the week. Write it down. This is my lock.
This is
He
such
goes off.
difficult.
They added Cooper. I mean, like it changes the whole
I
dynamic.
agree with you. This is my lock
Okay.
as well too.
They added a
Aaron-
healthy wide receiver. That's the goal to
Right.
me. That's the
They,
key.
They win an ugly game against a division rival on the road, which is huge. Granted, I mean, how many penalties? 22 penalties in that game total by both teams.
Yeah,
ugly game. But that being said, you come home now 4-2, feeling good about yourself. You're clearly the leader in the division now. Lock of the week from as well. Josh Allen and the Bills.
Yeah, bring out the flaming folding tables.
He's got all
Yes.
the Riz. He's got a puppy now. He's got Amari Cooper.
He's the
I'm
third-
taking Buffalo at
He's
home.
the third best quarterback in the league right now too. Also, Not
Third
front.
best quarterback. Boy,
Well,
that's
just
gonna,
gotta
that's
get
gonna
a
be
Patty
some
and Lamar.
arguments
Lamar.
about that.
Well, Lamar as a case. We do.
Noah, did you see Noah's face when you said that? You just broke his heart.
You watching Lamar right now? You know he can throw the ball these days. Well, that's
Go
an issue
ahead,
for
Mike.
you.
Let's move on to the next game. Ernest is really upsetting Noah right now. Ernest is going to start working the overnights too, I heard.
Oh, allegedly. Yeah, go ahead.
Cincinnati at Cleveland is the next
So-
game where Cincinnati goes in favored by 4.5. Go ahead, Ernest.
So, historically in the Burrow era, Cleveland does give the Bengals issues, no matter who's quarterback. So, logically you say, well, the Browns just bounce back here. No, the Browns, I think they've quit officially. That this team is done. They're selling off parts now. The Bengals absolutely need this game. I have the Bengals still going to the playoffs despite being 2-4 because that offense is pretty lethal. Although that offense is pretty bad on Sunday against the Giants.
All right,
It's just
so
one of the Giants. So give me the Bengals to win this game and bounce back.
let me get a confirmation from the Cleveland guy. Jameis Winston is starting this week, correct? I believe he is.
No.
Okay.
No.
I thought that was. I thought I saw that. I thought maybe I'm wrong.
No, not
Okay.
happening. And it can't start.
It scared me that they would put him in there at some point because their current quarterback is so horrendous that they cannot win a game with him in there. They can't. They don't
Right.
have a
No, of
chance.
course not.
Their defense is pretty good. I don't care what anybody says. On the defensive side of the ball, they're organized. Their only absolutely glaring issue right now, in my opinion, is quarterback. If they make a change, which I think they have to, and they may, I like Cleveland.
They
getting
should
the forts.
No,
getting the points. I like them.
They should make a change. They're not going to because they're paying that guy that money.
Right.
So there you go.
Yeah, until they change the quarterback, I'm taking Cincinnati on the road. And again, Cincinnati is favored by 4.5 in that 1 o'clock game on Sunday. And now we move on to one of the best games of the week, and that is Houston at Green Bay, where Green Bay is favored in the frozen tundra by 2.5.
It's not frozen October, is it?
No, not yet. I just
Not yet.
call
Okay,
that.
so Green Bay given 2.5. I don't know if anybody's watching this, but when you talk about defenses, Green Bay is up there. Their defensive line is a monster against the run. I think that they changed the dynamic of the game by stuffing the run and making Stroud make more plays. I like Green Bay. I like Green Bay at home. They're a very good team.
I do too. This is a game between two teams in the conference that are trying to position themselves as one of the lead dogs in the respective conferences. Of course, you wouldn't pick Houston to win the AFC, you wouldn't pick Packers to win the NFC right now, but they're definitely in the conversation of teams that can crack that top two when it's all said and done. I'm going to take Green Bay here at home. I just think Green Bay now with Jordan Love getting healthy every week and looking better every week, and as you said, Noah, their defense is looking definitely top third of the league right now. I like Green Bay to win this game in actually in a shootout, to be honest with you. Give me Green Bay to cover this game.
Yeah, I think after watching Jordan Love play a couple of games, what a phenomenal talent he is. I think with him in the game, Green Bay is easily one of the best teams in the NFC, and I am going to take them at home. Again, they're favored by 2.5 on Sunday with Houston coming to town. I am going to take Green Bay to win that game. Now we move on to Miami at Indianapolis, where Indianapolis is going to be favored by 3.5 points. Go ahead, Noah.
I'm told Tua comes back, even though he's not great. I like Indy even giving the points. I think Miami's just absolutely struggling on offense. I don't think they have an identity on offense. They can't run the ball. They can't throw the ball now. Indy's defense is pretty good. Miami's defense is good, but Miami just doesn't have a way to put points on the board. I'm going to take Indy.
This is a huge game for the Dolphins because if they can somehow win this game, they'll be 3-3, feeling good about themselves. Tua is allegedly back next week, so you're feeling good now in a wild card situation the AFC that's not defined right now. So this is probably their season here, the Dolphins. This game here. So, but again, who's starting for the Colts here? Because the rumor is that AR-15 might be back this week. There's the rumors that he might be back this week.
All right.
So, that being said, the Colts are playing good football right now with Joe Flacco, with the assumption Flacco starting this week. I hate to say it, I'm going to take the Colts here just because of the optics. No corner for the Dolphins right now, and Huntley has not, even that Pats game 2 weeks ago, did not look good. So give me the Colts here, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm taking the Colts at home. Again, favored by 3.5. I'm going to take the Colts at home with the Dolphins coming into town. And again, that game is at 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. Now we're talking about the next game. And that's going to be Detroit at Minnesota, which is going to be a great game where Minnesota is actually going to be favored by 1.5 points at home. Go ahead, Noah.
Yeah, this is my game of the week. We had the shame of the week. This is my game of the week. I think Detroit is just an absolute buzzsaw. I think they're that good. I mean, they went in there and ran through Dallas at home. And Dallas didn't have an answer for anything they were doing. I know Dallas isn't great right now, but I was a little surprised that Detroit brought out every single trick play that they had in the book, and they used them all, being up 30-plus points. That was a little surprising.
They might have more than that.
I think that was a mistake. But I like Detroit, and I think they are the most complete team in the league right now.
Not only is this my game of the week, it's also my upset of the week, based on the spread, of course. I think Detroit is the best team. I don't give a crap about records. I know Minnesota's 5-0. I get all that. I think Detroit is the best team in the NFC right now, and I think they will even without Hutchinson, who got hurt. Shout out to him, of course, out for the year with a broken tibia. I think the Lions will come in here and honestly, I think they'll win this game convincingly. So give me Detroit win this game running away.
Yeah, I'm taking Detroit. Traveling to Minnesota. I think, like you guys are saying, one of the best teams, if not the best team right now in the league. They've got it rolling at all
Yeah.
cylinders. I'm taking Detroit as they travel to Minnesota, and again, Minnesota at home, and that game is going to be favored by 1.5. And now we move on to the next game. And before we talk about the next game, I want to talk about the best place to watch the game. Because if you're going to watch this game, honestly, there is no better place than the paddock to watch it. It's called everywhere you're going to get to go and watch that game because of the Dolphins playing. You know that's going to be the feature game on most sports bars in most places. So if you want to watch that game, Philadelphia at New York, this is the best place to do it right here in the Paddock Restaurant. Bring all your family and friends and come watch the Eagles battle their rivals, the Giants, right here at PBKC. Honestly, no better place. We're going to talk about the paddock also a little bit later with some great things going on in there. But let's get to that game now. Philadelphia at the New York Giants, where Philly comes in favored by 3.5 points. It's both of your teams, so
That's
I
right.
expect a healthy discussion here.
Well, well, healthy,
No,
yes,
no,
but
it's not going to happen.
not that much. Look, the Giants' defense is really, really good. That's all they have. The offense is terrible. Daniel Jones is terrible. You saw the Bengals game. I guess a Bengals defense has been one worse in the league this year, and we put up only 7 points. That's pathetic. I don't care if the neighbors didn't play the game. I don't care if it's out the game. That's still pathetic. And the Eagles, meanwhile, I said after the bye week, there's a 4-game sample in these next 4 weeks that will tell me if they're still Super Bowl contenders. So far, they passed the first test. Granted, close against Cleveland, but tough defense, as Noah said earlier. I'm taking Philly in this game and the cover. I think Eagles need to go 4-0 to really show that things are better in that locker room. Because the issues with Philadelphia for me is not talent-wise. I think they're one of the most talented teams in the conference. I think the problem is a lot of internal issues. And, the Sirianni thing, of course, you saw on Sunday. We'll see if that's all blown or not. But, again, these are all must-wins right going forward for the Eagles.
You start to press a little bit, and the Eagles, since last year on that terrible meltdown that they had at the end of the season, started pressing. And when you start pressing and you get in your own head, you're not playing football anymore. You're not having fun. So something that they talked about during the bye week in Philadelphia was, let's go out and play football. They even talked about Sirianni going back to being Sirianni, being a screwball that he is on the sidelines, getting everybody all riled up. We fell back into that same trap again, and we looked like we were trying to get out of it in Cleveland. Then they line up for the field goal, 54 yards. They get it blocked, return for a touchdown. Now we're right back into pressing again. Now we're tied at the half. We're going back into the game, and we're pressing. Philly has to have that one game where they break out, where they just have a win. They do it handily, and they move on. I'm hoping this is the game. It sets up to be the game. Is Neighbors playing or no?
I would lean yes, but no.
All right, so this could. The Eagles need a get-right game, and hopefully this is the one. I do think they win, but I think that they need a get-right game where they're firing on all 3 cylinders: offense, defense, special teams. It seems like one facet shows up at any given time, and the other 2 don't, and it's super frustrating. But I think we get the W.
Here's one positive of the Eagles this week, though. Jalen Hurts played a very clean game for the first time in 9.
He did.
At least you have that going forward to add on. A.J. Brown's back. He looked great. Devontae Smith is back. So I think you have the pieces in place now. Just got to move forward now. And I think they should be okay. Give me the Eagles, as I said.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Eagles on the road here. I think all of us had the Eagles. We picked the Eagles last week. We lost because the Eagles didn't cover the points because they were obviously favored by so much. I think this week, going into New York, being favored by 3.5, I definitely think they cover that. I'm taking the Eagles for a nice road win in New Jersey, playing the New York Giants. And now we move on to our next game. And this is what I was hoping would be an exciting game at the beginning of the season, but it's not as excited anymore. And that is Las Vegas, the dumpster fire that is Las Vegas, traveling to L.A. to play the Rams, where the Rams are favored by 5.5.
Yeah, we got a team that's traveling to L.A. who doesn't have a home. This is going to be a Raiders home game.
Yes, it is.
It is because the Raiders, when they play at home, it's not a home game for them. Pittsburgh took over that stadium. They had 70% of the fans, but they get to go back home for their one game this season and play at Los Angeles. But I don't think it matters. They're trending in that direction of having question marks all over the board, offense, defense. To trade away arguably one of the top 5 receivers in the league. Now he doesn't even want to play for them, and now you start having problems. Getting personnel. I think you have to start unloading guys. I think you have to lolook at getting rid of the defensive end. What's his name? Crosby.
Right.
Get rid of him. Get some draft capital and reinvent this thing. The ownership over there. He has a bad haircut, and I think he doesn't do a good job. So I'm going. I'm going for.
Exactly.
I'm going to go with the Rams.
And the Rams could be in the same spot too. Also, if they lose this week, selling off parts as well. They still have a chance to climb back into the wild situation though. Right now, it's looking like the NFC North taking all 4 teams right now, but we'll see. That being said, the Raiders are already. They quit without quitting. Let's put it that way. You sell off parts, you're quitting the season. So, give me the Rams to cover this game off a bye, if anything.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Rams. Even though I'm a Las Vegas Raiders fan, I might not pick them the rest of the season. I don't even think they could win their bye week right now.
Good idea.
I think they're just a terrible team. Once they get rid of Crosby and have that fire sale, obviously Devontae Adams didn't want to play for him. He never seemed happy there. But none of the superstars that ever come to the Raiders are ever happy. If we look back at Antonio Brown as my glaring example of that. So.
Go back. Antonio Brown's a little bit of a.
He was
head
a little
case,
wacky,
so
but
that's a little different.
nobody wants
Tampa
to play.
wasn't happy. I mean, but for Brady, what are we gonna do here?
Yeah, nobody wants to play for the Raiders right now, and I'm going to go and go ahead and pick the home team here. L.A. Rams favored by 5.5. I'm going to take them at home, and that is the first 4:05 game we're talking about. Now we move on to another game called Carolina at Washington, where Washington is rightfully favored at home by 7.5.
Yes. Washington showed me a lot in a loss. Because it wasn't enough that they had to win the game. Okay, fine. Because we all picked Baltimore to win last week against Washington. It was going to be competitive against a team that's not on level. That's still a tier or two up above them. And they passed that test. They passed the smell test, in my opinion. So now Washington, with off a loss, let's see if they can bounce back in a big way and can try to continue to build what they're doing. I believe in the power vacuum in the NFC East. Obviously, I think Washington's for real. Give me the Commanders to win and win one away.
So do yourself a favor. If you can find the passing chart for the quarterback in Washington, everybody's like, he's great, it's awesome, whatever.
Daniels?
He's only throwing to the right. If you look at his passing chart, and this is a glaring issue, and NFL defense coordinators, if you don't know this yet, go ahead and take a look at that. I'm going to help you out, Carolina, today. He's throwing to the right. He rolls to the right. He's looking to the right. He has, I'm going to guess, based on the chart that I saw, he's maybe 10, 12% throwing to the left. That's going to be a problem at some point when they start sending corner blitz from the right and make him throw to his left and some other things. Washington, they're a good team. Carolina's a bad team. Washington can't beat the next tier teams, as you saw in Baltimore. They can't beat that team yet. They're not there yet.
Right.
But they are better in Carolina. I'm taking Washington, even giving up the points.
Yeah, even at 7.5, I think you still have to go with Washington at home here. I'm hoping that Carolina coaching staff is watching the game, and maybe they'll have an advantage from Coach Carbone here. But if that is true, I'm guessing that Scary Terry is always to Jaden Daniels' right. Terry McLaurin, one of my favorite wide receivers in the league. But now we move on to the next game, and that is one of the later 4 o'clock games, and that is this is great. I mean, what can you say? Kansas City at San Francisco.
Super rematch.
Kansas City's undefeated.
Yeah.
They find a way to win every game. You have to win a game. It's usually by 3 points. I think very rarely do you see a 2-point win or a 1-point win, 3 points, like a point and a half. Kansas City, they don't lose games. So how are you going to pick? How are you going to pick against them?
Simple.
I don't understand.
Very simple. But I'm going to. I think after this week we'll have 0 unbeaten teams in the league. Kansas City is not going undefeated. Okay, let's just start right there. They're not going unbeaten. at
Well,
all.
okay.
They're going to lose.
Like,
they're gonna lose-
Congratulations, Ernest. Like,
Right.
you're giving these.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
they're
two
going
Dolphins,
You
to.
heard
aren't
it
they?
here first.
Yeah.
There's
And
not
my-
another
my-
team
my-
that's going to go undefeated.
No, my lock of the week is that
Pop the champagne,
right.
Miami.
My lock of the week is
Thanks, Ernest.
My lock of the week is that this week is that every unbeaten team left in the league will lose this week. Minnesota's going to go down to Detroit, and I think KC loses to San Francisco because San Francisco's desperate.
So they're popping bottles in Miami this weekend. That's what you're saying.
Well, I mean,
You're saying both of them. That's
Yes.
what they do. They get the champagne
Yeah,
and the thing and
yeah,
whatever.
absolutely.
And Miami
yeah,
wins
without
the
question.
Super,
Yeah,
that's
without
Miami's
question.
Super Bowl this
Look,
year.
look, San Fran's defense is going to keep this thing, close, and I think KC's is played close to the cuff as is anyway, minus the New Orleans game. And I think they'll get caught a little bit. I think they'll caught a little trouble this week. San Francisco there's a lot of familiarity with these two teams now. They played in Super Bowl twice in the last couple of years. They just played Super Bowl back in February. I just think San Francisco is desperate. They need this win, and they're getting healthier too.
I didn't weigh in the factor that San Fran is not happy about the way the Super Bowl turned out. That was bad the way that trended. So one of two things happens: they go in there and they get it. It's either going to be a gigantic San Fran win, which I don't think so, or Kansas City's going to go ahead.
This is going to say
and
more about
just
San
eke it out.
Francisco where they are, where they're going to be going, because this is around the time every year when they start slow, they start to turn on the heat now. So I think it starts this week. Give me San Francisco in this game.
They're not going to have Christian McCaffrey. He hasn't even started practicing
He's playing all year long.
And Jordan Mason, I don't know if he's going to play either.
Oh, he's hurt?
He was hurt after last week.
Banged.
And that's why, even though they're a division rival of my Raiders, I can't pick against Kansas City here. Coming off a bye week, everybody seems well rested. You saw Tay and Travis at the Yankees game the other night.
Tay?
We're that close.
Swizzy?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
BFFs.
everybody's well rested in Kansas City. I think they're coming into this game. They obviously know each other very well. I'm taking Kansas City.
Here's
on the road.
one underrated factor, and I know Noah will actually agree with this. Andy Reid of bye weeks. I think it's 31-7 all time.
Yeah, I was actually going to add that in. They're coming off a bye. He's a problem. I'm going to let you have one this time.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
And San Francisco, again, in that game, is favored by 1.5. And now we move on to the Sunday night game. This should be a fun one. That is the New York Jets are going to be going into Pittsburgh, favored by 1.5 in Pittsburgh. It's going to be a Sunday night game. You know the terrible towels are going to be out. Go ahead, Noah.
The quarterback's serviceable. Fields is serviceable right now.
If he starts.
They cannot make a change at this point. I just don't see it. Somebody's winning. He's getting the job done. I know that they're looking, and the other guy's taking first-team reps, and that's a little bit concerning. But Pittsburgh's defense is excellent. They really are.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that, Adams coming back for Rodgers. He has his BFF there now. I even think Adams is like the godparent of his children. Like
Really?
Yeah,
That close? All right, I
I'm
know
pretty
that.
sure.
Wow.
Like he's back, and this is going to be a big deal. I think they're going to be like just like old business. I think if you're talking fantasy, don't start anybody else because Rodgers is going to be looking for his BFF every single play.
Mm-hmm.
I think Pittsburgh can't. I think the Jets' defense match up against Pittsburgh's offense, and then when you take Pittsburgh's defense against the Jets' offense, I think it's close, but I think that the Jets have enough. I'm going with the Jets on this, given the points.
Yeah, you take this for a team at this point. I mean, it's not like the Jets are losing games like in blowouts. They lost 1 point to the Broncos, lost by 1 possession against the Vikings, a field goal against the Bills. So it's not like the Jets look, they're not playing well, but they're not getting blown out either and getting embarrassed. So let's start there. Take a desperate team, of course, in this one. Also, Russell Wilson, it looks like Russell might be starting this week. It looks that's the word we're hearing is that they're
That's
leaning
why
that way.
That is wild to me. That is wild.
I agree,
to me.
and I'm a Wilson guy.
Wild to me.
I'm a Wilson guy, but just feels that should be the starting quarterback.
Yeah, as of Wednesday morning, while we're doing this show, it's like a little after 10:30 a.m. We don't know who's starting quarterback for Pittsburgh. We don't know if Devontae Adams is going to play.
He's playing.
I mean, do we
He's
know
playing.
that for sure?
Yeah,
I mean,
like
he just
he's
missed
there.
like 4 weeks with a hamstring issue.
Yeah,
so.
that was a hamstring.
Yeah, probably.
Save the trade asset, buddy.
But I'm taking Pittsburgh at home here. I just think the Jets, it's going to take them a couple weeks to get it together, I feel like. And I'm going to take Pittsburgh at home in the Sunday night game. And now we move on to 2 Monday night games. That's going to be Baltimore at Tampa Bay. That's a heck of a game right there, where Baltimore is going in favored by 3.5.
Baker Mayfield. Mm-hmm. Like, he's a menace for me. Like, I can't deal with this guy. He has the most touchdowns in the league, and it's frustrating because I mean, maybe he's somebody who I didn't think he was. I mean, he's playing pretty good, but Baltimore, they're just too much. Derrick Henry's leading the league in rushing right now, and I think they just go in there and punish Tampa and down there on the Monday night game. I like Baltimore even given the points.
I do too. Baltimore as well too. Derrick Henry is having a phenomenal year. Lamar Jackson's having a phenomenal year. They're red hot. I told you guys even when we were 0-2, they'll get through this tough schedule, and look, they're 4-0 since then. And against tough teams also on top of that. Give me the Ravens to continue their trek here. They're them and the Chiefs right now 1-2 in the AFC in my opinion. So give me the Ravens.
Yeah, I can't pick against the Ravens here. I think now that they put it all together, they've figured out how to use some of their new toys in Derrick Henry. I think the sky's the limit. I'm going to take the Ravens here to travel to Tampa Bay. And then our final game of the week is the Chargers at Arizona, where the Arizona is actually the underdog by 2.5 points at home.
Yeah, you're saying actually. I said it earlier. Everybody's this Kyler Murray, and then, they start off decent or whatever. He's not good. He's like a little toddler back there. Like I coach Pee-wee 12-year-olds back there, and they run the same way and they hold the ball the same way. And he's like,
is it wrong that when I see him run, I just laugh? I'm sorry, I just do. Every time I see him running,
I know
what
you're thinking when he runs.
I'm sorry.
So I know exactly what
it's weird.
It's like Mario
and
Luigi.
He's not. Yeah, he's not. I don't know. He's not the guy to get him over the level.
No.
I think he's lacking in leadership a little bit.
That too.
I think it's hard. I mean, the last guy at that height that was able to lead was like Mussolini or somebody. Like really.
What about Doug Flutie?
Doug Flutie there too. But yeah, I don't think he commands that presence of of the guy who's like, I'm the guy. I'm going to carry this team. I mean, even Aaron Rodgers, when he's losing, you have confidence in the guy. He carries himself a certain way. I don't think Kyler Murray has that. I like the Chargers. They were my pick to win that division. I know Kansas City's playing very well, but the Chargers are a very good team.
They are a very good team. I told you guys before the year started, I'm a Jim Harbaugh believer to the hilt. And he's showing it already. 5 games in, 6 games in. He changes cultures. And you're seeing the Chargers. They literally are a brand new team in a new way how they play football. They have more ball control, run the football, and he's still got a top 10 quarterback, in my opinion, still that can, when necessary, launch it. Chargers continue here. I told you guys, if they're in the playoffs, don't be surprised. Give me the Chargers.
This is my upset of the week. I'm taking Arizona at home as we end the games for week number 7. Those were our weekly picks right there, and our weekly picks segment on Pbkc Picks right here, broadcasting live from the Palm Beach
You're
Kennel
in last
Club.
place, right?
And no, actually, I'm close. I'm like in 5th place now. I'm
circle
passing
that Arizona pick.
I'm passing him this week, actually.
Right.
So now we're going to talk about this thing called Feast and Football.
Yummy.
It happens every Sunday. Reason I have to talk about the menus because the menus constantly changing because we're always trying to bring you and offer you the best choices for that of the $25 all-you-can-eat buffet that we offer every Sunday, and that comes with a free beer. So here are the offerings now. Italian hoagie bites, the new ones just added. Listen to this. Baby back ribs with corn on the cob and baked beans.
What?
How can you beat that?
Yo.
That is good.
I'm here Sunday.
Chicken wings, pretzel sticks with beer cheese, penne alla vodka, Italian sausage with peppers and onions, olive and cheese tray, nachos, chili and cheese, garden salad, and assorted desserts. The drink specials are import bucket $25, domestic bucket $20, Bloody Mary $6, mimosa $5, and margarita for only $6.
Ernest, you seem like the kind of guy who eats corn on the cob but uses the knife to like cut the
cut it
corn
off.
off.
Oh, God.
Do
No,
you?
what's wrong with
that
you?
is
I
so
don't- I just
disrespectful.
had
No,
that.
what, me?
That's
No.
a low
I
blow
should
right
see
there.
you
Wrong.
that.
That's wrong. What is wrong with you? No.
That
No.
sounds horrible. No.
No.
Okay, now we move on to the next segment of the show, and that is our fantasy football stardom and situm. Go ahead, Noah. Who is your start and sit for this week?
All right, Robinson's he's starting to get a little momentum. I like him for the start. For the sit,
Falcons, right? Falcons, Robinson?
Yeah,
yeah,
Bijan.
that one. Yeah. Is there another one?
There's one in Washington, right?
Would you
Ryan Robinson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't.
So make sure.
No, I'm not meaning him. I think Stroud's going to struggle in Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the Green Bay defense is pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and sit Stroud. And just for full disclosure, my fantasy football team right now is 4-2. Go ahead, Ernest.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
My storm this week is going to be the same game. It's going to be Lamar Jackson of the Ravens. He'll torch the Buccaneers. And my sit-em this week is Kyler Murray against the Chargers defense. Isn't Call of Duty out soon too? Also.
Yeah, next week.
That's really going to affect
Sit
this
Kyle
game.
Murray, please. Thank you.
I'm picking him this week, but not after Call of Duty comes out. But my stardom and sit him, I actually was pretty right last week, even though I'm horrible at fantasy
What's
football.
What's your record?
In
full
fantasy
disclosure?
football,
Yeah.
one of my leagues I'm 4-2, and the other one I'm 1-5.
Okay,
so.
Ernest, where are you at?
I don't do fantasy football, man.
He doesn't have to.
I don't
He's just
enjoy.
good.
I don't enjoy fantasy football. I like sports betting.
It doesn't challenge him at all.
No.
I'm going to go Tank Bigsby as my starter this week. He should get a lot of action because Travis Etienne is injured right now, and my sit is going to be like an all-time sit. I'm never going to start Calvin Ridley again. This guy.
Yo, he was big mad after the game on Sunday.
Oh man,
Did you see his press conference after?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm hoping something clicks in Tennessee because I'll be honest with you, like Calvin Ridley, what a disappointment he's been so far. So that is my sit for this week and possibly the rest of the season. I'm not going to drop him because that's when he's going to start scoring points.
Right.
But those are our fantasy football stardom, sit-em for the week of week number 7. Now we move on to the next segment of the show, and that is our weekly poll.
What do we have?
Weekly poll last week was which tight end is going to have the most receiving yards in week number 6.
This is Dallas. Like in the first play, went out with a hammy, and then the backup tight end had 60-something yards. I think he would have won. I think he actually.
So I voted Goddard.
Yeah.
Last week, but what was the actual answer on that one?
I think it was.
It was Bowers.
Bowers ended up with the most. So our winner from voting, and this is the coolest part of the show. All you have to do is vote in the poll, and we're gonna pick somebody randomly.
Pressing a button, right? That's all.
It's just clicking on that little like thing. You just have to
choice. It's like doing an SAT.
You don't even have to be right, to be honest with you. And the weekly poll winner last week was a big fan of Pbkc named Steve Kennedy. So congratulations to
Good job, Steve
Kennedy. I believe he's one of our poker players too. Congrats, Steve Kennedy. I'll contact you after the show and let you know how to get your one free Sunday buffet at Feasted Football on Sundays in the Paddock Restaurant.
Enjoy the corn on the cob.
Now, we just talked about the Paddock Restaurant. Now we got to talk about some of the cool things coming up here at Pbkc. Next up, starting next Wednesday, is actually a big week for us.
Yes.
It is the Moneymaker Tour. And the Moneymaker Tour actually made their debut here, what was it, last year?
And 2 years ago, and they've
2
blown
years
up
ago.
since. They're in Aruba. They're going to Mexico next year. I mean, they are going all over. And we were lucky that they came to us and partnered with us right out of the gate because I think places are remiss if they don't get involved. The Moneymaker is going to end up being one of the largest tours in the nation.
Yeah, we're very lucky to have a good relationship with Chris Moneymaker and, of course, Tony Burns, two huge names in the industry. And they're coming back to town, and that starts next Wednesday, 1 week from today, October 23rd through November 4th.
This is the home base here.
It is.
No, this is where. And the tournaments are they get so many chips, and there's these deep fields, and the streams. You get to be on the stream here, right on this channel. You can watch the streams.
Best part
is pretty awesome.
The amount of diverse tournaments they do have to also.
It is.
It
really
is.
Cool,
and they got something like 29 trophy events too.
Yes.
So that's going to start next week. You can find out all the information you need right there on our website at pbkennelclub.com. Just click on poker, see the schedule, see the structure sheets, everything you need to know about the Moneymaker Tour. And we have another dinner show coming up in the Paddock, and that is Let It Be. We just had Pure Zeppelin in there last Friday night. They were phenomenal.
Those haircuts, I don't think my parents are Beatles fans, but my mom gave me that haircut on the bottom left there.
I was that way too when I had hair. Yeah, it was horrible.
With that head?
It was the bowl cut.
No, but they're going to play all the hits, and it's pretty cool.
They used a salad bowl for Noah, but still. Let It Be is coming up, and that is November 8th. We actually had them in here last year. Absolutely fantastic. You're not going to want to miss it. I mean, even if, I'm not the biggest Beatles fan. Let me be honest with you. I like Elvis. I like everything. I like a lot of their songs. But when they played last year, you're singing along to each and every song. They're fantastic. Let It Be is coming back again by popular demand, and that's November 8th. And that's dinner and a show. You're not just coming for the show. No, you can't beat it at a low price, too.
Is it a hot take when I say the Beatles are an overrated band? Overrated?
I don't think it's a hot take.
Okay.
I think a lot of people will be upset with you for that.
Well,
but
they can just get over it.
It got cut short in a way. So, anyway.
Yeah.
And now we're moving on to one of our favorite segments of the show, and it's called Quick Picks.
Keep it quick, Ernest.
Okay,
I always do.
we're going to
All
go fly through the
we go.
games for this week. Okay, it's going to go Denver at New Orleans. Denver is actually the underdog, actually favored going into New Orleans by 1 point. Go ahead, Noah.
Saints.
Broncos.
I'm taking the Saints here. Now we move on to the Sunday early morning game, and that's where Jacksonville is favored overseas by 5.5 against New England.
Patriots.
Mimosa Bowl. Give me the Jaguars.
I'm taking the Jaguars at home.
Shame of the week.
Shame of the week. Now we move on to Seattle at Atlanta, where Atlanta is favored by 2.5.
Atlanta City, not so great. Football team wins this one.
The Fraud Cons beat the Fraud Seahawks.
I love the baseball team at Atlanta. I'm going to take the Hawks here. Again, favored at home by 2.5. Next up is Tennessee at Buffalo. Buffalo is at home with a hefty favored by 8.5.
Oh, my God, here we go.
I got Buffalo, Josh Allen, and the little puppy that he just got.
He got a puppy and a good wide receiver, too, this week.
Bills Mafia, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bills at home here. Next up, we have Cincinnati traveling to Cleveland, where Cincinnati will be favored by 4.5 points.
I thought we were changing quarterbacks, but I'm going to go with Cleveland getting the 4.5 at home.
The Bengals,
As my upset of the week.
Aha. The Bengals resurrection continues. Give me the Bengals here.
I'm taking the Bengals on the road. Now we move on to Houston at Green Bay. Green Bay at home, favored by 2.5 points.
Yeah, Lambeau leap in full effect. I like Green Bay.
Go, Pack, go.
I'm taking the Packers at home. Now we move on to Miami, the Dolphins at Indianapolis. Indianapolis favored at home by 3.5.
Yeah, I think Dolphins maybe score 3
Oh,
in
God.
total. I like Indy giving 3.5.
Must win for the Dolphins here, but give me the Colts, unfortunately.
I'm taking the Colts at home. We all agree on that one. Now, moving on to one of the best games of the week, and that is Detroit traveling to Minnesota, where Minnesota is favored at home by 1.5.
Yeah, game of the week for me. Detroit getting points. I think they're the best complete team in the league. I think they really entrenched that by going into Minnesota and beating them.
Not only the game of the week for me, also the upset of the week. Give me the Lions in a dominant fashion.
Okay, I'm taking the Lions on the road in Minnesota. Now we move on to a game that's close to these guys. These are their teams. Philly is traveling to New Jersey to play the Giants, where the Philadelphia is favored by 3.5.
This is the get-right game. This is the game that Philly needs. We're hungry for this one. Philly goes into New York and takes this one easy.
Unfortunately, I agree. No, we're here on this one.
Yep, we all agree. Philadelphia, fly, Eagles, fly. Now moving on to a dumpster fire, which is Las Vegas, going to L.A., which is kind of a home game for them to play the Rams, where the Rams are favored by 5.5. Go ahead, Noah.
Yeah, a lot of losses in here between the two teams. I'm going to go with Vegas.
Yeah, give me the Rams off a bye.
I'm taking the Rams at home. Now we move on to Carolina at Washington. Washington is the overwhelming favorite, 7.5 points.
Yeah, I got Washington and a quarterback that only throws to his right.
And rightly so. Give me the Commanders to win this game and cover.
This game, he's going to learn to throw to his left. I'm taking Washington at
Oh,
home.
oh.
Kansas City at San Francisco, a rematch of the Super Bowl, where Kansas City is going into San Francisco, where they are favored, San Fran, by 1.5 points. Go ahead, Noah.
Yeah, and Kansas City's the best team in the league. They're the two-time defending champs. I mean, they're an all-around team. They know how to win. They know how to win. I'm taking Kansas City.
After this game, we'll have 0 undefeated teams in the league. Give me the Niners.
We all disagree with Ernest on this one because I'm taking Kansas City off the bye week. Now to move on to the Sunday night game, and that is the new-look Jets going into Pittsburgh, where the Jets will be favored by 1.5.
I got the Jets. Aaron Rodgers and his BFF come back to town. I think they're going to have that chemistry like it wasn't interrupted. I like the Jets in this one.
The Jets bounce back begins here. Give me the Jets as well.
I'm taking Pittsburgh at home, and that is the Sunday night game. Now we move on to 2 Monday night games. That is Baltimore at Tampa Bay. Baltimore goes in favored by 3.5.
Yeah, Baltimore just runs all over Tampa. I like Baltimore.
Ravens continue domination there. Give me the Ravens to win in a runaway.
Go Ravens. And the final game of week number 7, and that is the L.A. Chargers versus Arizona at Arizona, and L.A. is going in favored by 2.5 points.
Yeah, the Chargers are just that much better than Arizona. I think Arizona has question marks all over the place, including the quarterback. I like San Diego.
You know, Jim Harbaugh, you know how I feel about him already. Give me the Chargers.
My upset of the week, I'm taking Arizona at home. Those were our quick picks for week number 7.
Yeah, okay, now that portion's done, you're in desperation mode, taking all these. I know what you're doing.
Now I'm dying to be
Straight
Sully now.
desperation.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Hey, I'll give you an A for effort there, buddy.
Yeah, I'm taking them at home. What are your final thoughts for this week, Noah?
So, okay, so we're past the point where we're trying to we're trying to figure out who everybody is. Now we're talking about positions. So we're trying to figure out positionally who's going to be where. As far as playoff seeding, I think we have an idea of who's going to make it and who's not. I think we're getting closer to that. There's very few teams on the cusp. We know there's identities clear. I think this is where teams need to separate themselves from the pack and start putting together these wins that are key wins, whether it be Kansas City at San Fran or Detroit going into Minnesota. I think this is where you entrench yourself and saying, okay, we're that much better than everybody else. We're going for the number 1 seed.
Yeah, all the positioning on top of the NFL now. The top, 5, 6, 7 teams, all of them play each other. So you'll see positioning going forward and see who's what's real and whatnot. So that's what stands out through the schedule.
When I see Ernest in the poker room on Monday, he's going to come up to me and he's either going to say, I told you so on the undefeated teams, or he's going to say, I was wrong. I think at least one of those teams, I'm guessing Kansas City, is going to come out of here undefeated after week number 7, which is huge to go, what would that be, 6-0 for them. So what a huge week it's going to be. I think there's some great games this week. Before we go, though, we got to do our poll for the week, and that is which defense is going to allow the least amount of points in week 7. And what I did was I went and looked up all the defenses that have allowed the least amount of points. And this might actually surprise you. At least one of the teams might. Okay, the team that's allowed the least amount of points is the Los Angeles Chargers.
Not surprising at all.
That's not surprising.
Okay.
Jim Harbaugh culture. I keep telling you guys.
Okay,
so
Minnesota Vikings.
Not surprised.
And Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah,
not surprised.
Detroit, that's not going to – yeah, it's the Chargers. I think Detroit's just going to put up all kinds of points. I'm going with the Chargers.
I am too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take the Vikings here just for the heck of it.
You can vote on that online?
Yeah, you're actually going to be able to vote on that in just a few minutes when I put that poll up on Facebook.
Press the button. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, click the button, and somebody is going to win a free Sunday buffet just for voting. Just vote on it. Even if you're wrong, like we are every week, just vote on it.
I wish we won something every time we were wrong.
Exactly. We'd be big winners by now.
I know about that. I'm first place. I couldn't tell you.
Oh, here we go. Well, folks, that is Pbkc picks for week number 7 here at Pbkc.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah,
I hope you are.
We really hope that you'll join us. Go to our website for everything you ever need to know about us at pbkennelclub.com. We also have the Moneymaker Tour starting 1 week from today, and that's October 23rd through November 4th. We'll see you in the paddock for Feast and Football this Sunday. Have a great week 7.
We'll see you.